Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to my personal channel at the Si927. I can't get that out today at all. So I just recorded a video over on Cardiff City World looking at Ollie Tanner and his impact. So make sure you check that out. It's Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Over on this channel, it's probably mostly football, right? Just my opinions and stuff like that. So it's going to be slightly different to the Cardiff City World channel because it won't always be Cardiff City related, but it is going to be generally Cardiff City and Wales and football because that's what I spend my life doing. But I wanted to get into this, and I think it's a really interesting moment in the season. Ruben Colwill is out probably till February. Hopefully before, but probably till February. Omari Kellyman's picked up a groin issue, I think it is, over the weekend, so he's probably out for at least a couple of weeks. Is that a disaster for Cardiff City? You've got two of your first choice number 10s are out, or is it an opportunity for others? And I kind of wanted to delve into that, some of the solutions and why they may be good solutions or not, and is it a terrible situation? Is it manageable, or is it a disaster? You know, so let's have a look. Cardiff City suddenly find themselves in a very interesting position. Two players who at different times this season have looked like the first choice number 10 are both now unavailable. Ruben Colwill still sidelined. Omari Kellyman now picked up a groin issue, something similar maybe at the weekend. Suddenly there is a position that felt very settled isn't. So let's break it down properly and look at each individual who it sort of affects. Like, why Ruben Colwill first was still and still is the key piece in Brian Barry Murphy's team and the puzzle. You start with Ruben because the context matters. Ruben is still, for me, the most influential attacking midfielder Cardiff City have. When he's fit, firing, not just because of his talent, but because of what he unlocks in others, not always with his passing, but with his pressing, his movement, everything. His ability to carry the ball, his vertical passing between the lines. He has a genuine ability to receive it on the half turn and cause teams problems. It's the big physical presence in the central zones, an outlet that defenders actually need to really be concerned with. They cannot give him space. When Ruben plays at the 10 for Cardiff, we progress the ball a bit quicker and a bit better. We spend more time in the final third. We create better angles for runners beyond him. And you can see it in games when he's not playing. Without Ruben, Cardiff are often become a little bit more predictable, or they did. More reliant on the wide delivery, more dependent on second balls. The structure changes both with and without the ball. So yes, Cardiff City absolutely need Ruben Colwill back fit and in that team. There's no dressing that up. However, when Ruben got injured, enter Omari Kellyman, and there was a real turning point for him in his time at Cardiff. And I think it's a really interesting one because when Ruben was injured, Omari Kellyman's role changed, and frankly, so did his performances. He moved from the right into the number 10. It was a big call for the manager. He could have gone for someone a bit more experienced, but since that switch, Kellyman has looked all the player that we thought we were going to get. He's looked more confident, he's been more involved, plays closer to goal, and crucially, he influences games. Biggest difference you see is quick feet. Kellyman's ability to receive the ball in tight spaces, to shift the ball quickly and drive at defenders centrally has added something to Cardiff that we don't have without Ruben. And the one thing that really stands out is he wins a lot of free kicks in and around the area. And it's not a small detail because in League One, free kicks are massive. They relieve pressure on you. They allow teams to reset and just take a breath. But they also create opportunities to test the keeper, to put the ball in the box, whatever it may be. Kellyman invites contact. He draws fouls. He disrupts rhythm, and that matters. He also has been pressing really well. Those long legs come to use as he pinches the ball back. Now, the injury concern is, of course, is real. You can't not address it. It's an elephant in the room, isn't it? Like, Ruben's out for a bit. Kellyman's now nursing an issue. Is it a worry? Yeah, big time. because I rate both players. I think both players are absolutely phenomenal. But if both are unavailable, Cardiff suddenly lose the two most natural central creators, the best ball carriers between the lines, the primary tempo changers in the attacking areas. And it's going to force a rethink from Brian Barry Murphy and his team. But it's not panic, just adjustment. And I said at the start, disaster or opportunity. And whenever anybody is out injured, suspended, whatever, arrested, it gives someone else an opportunity to take their chance. I discussed recently how Joel Colwell's gone from starting at the beginning of the season to now he didn't get any minutes on the weekend. He's on the bench. And he needs to look at the likes of Callum Chambers, Perry NG, Callum Robinson, and how they've behaved, trained, and then when they've got their opportunities off the bench or to get a start, they've taken them. Great role models. And this is where that debate now really starts, because football seasons are long and they are brutal, but they are also defined by moments like this when you get big injuries or players missing. Do you struggle through? Do you uncover something new? Or do you really fall apart? This squad does have options. It's a good squad for League One. So let's talk through some of those options. And I think, people might disagree with this, but I actually think the obvious short-term solution is Chris Willock. He's been in good form, been really creative, and I think Willock has got everything you want from a number 10. Ball control in tight areas. He's creative. He's experienced. He can be a goal threat from in and around the box, and he can link up well. He can receive the ball between the lines. He can combine in tight areas. He can link the wide play and the central play. But the question is, or the question has never been about Chris Willock's ability. He's a quality, talented footballer. It's always been about consistency and trust. But at the moment, he feels fit and strong and reliable. The manager trusts him, and if he's fit and sharp, it could be a real opportunity for him. A proper run of games in the centre could reinvigorate him even further. A chance to reassert himself, and I think, look, the likelihood of him doing it, I think, is probably on the slimmer side. I think there'll be other options that the manager will go for, but I would love to see Chris Willock get an opportunity in the 10 with Ruben and Omari Kellyman out. Next option, Callum Robinson. Now this is probably the more obvious one, but I think it's a very aggressive option tactically, because it's effectively playing two up front, but Callum just drops in deep. Now Callum Robinson, maybe not a natural number 10. He's the best finisher at the club, but he can operate as a 10. He's shown that this season. He does give you aggressive movements. He'll press. He can run beyond defenders and get in behind. And as a 10, I think he'd be more of a second striker and less of a playmaker. But that can cause a bit of creative chaos rather than maybe the control that the manager's looking for. And this is why we see it late in games when we need a goal. It can definitely work in certain games, especially against certain teams or teams who sit in deep, are going to defend narrow and not going to really attack us too much, like Wigan the other day. I think the likelihood of this will be situational, but he's definitely one of the higher up choices when you're looking at potential replacements for Ruben or Kellyman. Then you've got Kian Ashford. Now this is another interesting one. Kian has quietly developed into a really reliable squad option. I thought we missed him on the weekend because of his movement off the ball. He's a smart tactical player, and he's someone who understands space really well. Now Kian played all the way through the youth and development as a number 10. He hasn't really been given an opportunity to do so in the first team. He did it a little bit last year under Omar Reset for a game or two. But at 10, what Kian can offer, his work rate is phenomenal. He's got really good tactical discipline, depending on what the manager is looking to do. And he's very intelligent at pressing and winning the ball back. He's not as explosive as Kellyman or as physically dominant as Ruben, but he is tidy and he's got a good touch in tight spaces, and there's a reason why championship clubs are interested in him. This would be a trust-based selection, I think, for sure. The manager's got to trust him to do it. I think it's, in terms of the likelihood, somewhere in the middle. but I don't think it's the worst option. Option number 4, next option, Joel Colwill. Now this is the one, right? He's played there a few times of late. He gives you incredible energy. He can carry the ball. I don't think he's quite got the close control of his brother or of Omari Kellyman, but he will create chaos. He will press like a madman, and he causes defenders problems. And he's not a bad finisher. We've seen that already this season. I think, again, this is one depending on the situations in the game. I was surprised he didn't come on in the Leyton Orient game, because I felt like that chaotic transition-y type game was perfect for him. I think Joel has got an all-round game, and I think he's a really good footballer. Me personally, I think he's better in the 8, like box to box, rather than being in the 10 and trying to receive it with his back to goal sometimes on the half turn. It is difficult, but it's doable, and I think for the right game, he's a great option there. I think it's definitely possible, especially if this game's that Cardiff are looking to dominate in midfield. And then you've got option number 5, and again, probably a bit of an outside shout in some ways, but you've got Alex Robertson. Now, I want to be clear, I prefer Alex Robertson in the number 8. I think that's where he does his best work, when he's got the game in front of him and he can switch and he can use his passing ability, his technical ability. Now, that's where his passing range and his positional sense and his game intelligence, they really shine. But he's done the number 10 role before, and he could definitely do it again. He would be a great link-up player. He's got excellent passing, he can carry the ball, and he can do those little 1-2s around the box. He can do that really well. So whilst I think the likelihood is probably on the lower side, I don't think it's the worst option either, depending on the game. And I think that's what all of these options are telling us, is we've got options in that 10, even with the 2 first choice out, that could be good for certain games. But I want to give you a wild card option, and it's a bit of a fun one, but I don't think with this manager particularly it's the most outrageous suggestion. You've got Troy Perrott in the under-21s. Is it realistic? Probably not at the moment, but I don't think it's impossible. And I think when he has come into the first team in the cup, in the Virtue Trophy, he's done really well. He's obviously performing well for the 21s. The games are going to pile up. Cardiff are going to need freshness. This manager trusts young players, so it might be that we see Perrott on the bench while one of the other guys goes into the 10. Might see him get an opportunity, and I think, look, it is a low likelihood with him. But what it comes down to, right, is yes, Ruben and Omari Kellyman are out at the same time. It's not ideal. It disrupts the continuity, but it also forces flexibility, tests the squad depth, creates opportunities for somebody to step up. Now, sometimes the season can turn on moments like this. Me personally, I think we've got enough options for different scenarios and different games to be flexible, and someone's got to step up and take that chance. Disaster, opportunity, I don't know, could be a risk, but it certainly doesn't have to be a crisis. If Cardiff manage those injuries properly, they pick the right profile of player to play that role for each game, trust the squad, trust the manager, this could actually end up strengthening the group. The key is, of course, get Rubin fit. Not rushing Kellyman, but getting him fit. We don't want him to pick up any injuries or further injuries. It's about smart selection now. Let me know in the comments what you think. Who would you play in number 10? Like this weekend, big game, Bradford away. Who would your number 10 option be? Me personally, I'd probably go with Joel. I think. No, I'd probably go with Willock actually. I'd go Willock, Robertson, Wintle, and I would go with Tanner and Davis on the wings and go pace. Try and get them on the break. Chris Willock would have to work though. If you didn't want to be so aggressive away from home, and maybe that is a risk against Bradford, I would drop Joel Colwill in there for this weekend. But I think what it does give this squad, we have a lot of options for different games. So it'll be interesting how we deal with it. Let me know in the comments who would your choice be for this weekend in the number 10 position for Cardiff. Obviously, Ruben's due back soon-ish. Kellyman hopefully won't be out for long. But the squad's going to have to deal with it. And who knows, we may even see a signing or two for Cardiff in January. Stranger things have happened. Keep the faith, my friends. Thank you so much as always. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel. We're going to try and get regular videos up. There'll be at least 3 a week anyway. But we'll try and get some nice regular videos, opinion pieces. Got any suggestions for what you want to hear me talk about? Drop them in the comments, etc. And make sure you subscribe, like all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, man.